I have never played more than a few minutes of a Fallout game. I then watched the series on Amazon Prime and decided to download Fallout 4. But that's as far as I got. It just sat there waiting and waiting for the game I picked next to Platinum. But with the second season of the show releasing soon, I thought it was about time I played it. So let me guide you through my journey through the Wasteland for the Platinum, and maybe even your journey if you decide to go for the Plat yourself. Now, before I start, I just want to say two things. First is that I'm not going to go too much into detail for the game's story, and I would like to say this is not to spoil things for you, which will be a bonus, especially for any of you using it to guide you through the stages of earning the Platinum. The second is that I'm not going to go into that much details for every trophy, and that is because for some of it I needed to use guides myself, and I didn't want to just rip the information from what I found myself. Instead, I will link everything in the description with what trophy it is for, as they deserve the work that they have done to be seen and not stolen. With that out of the way, let's get into what you're really here for. We start in our home and answer the door to a vault salesman offering us a space in a nearby vault, which we accept, and he couldn't have come at a better time, as straight from that the reports of bombs being dropped are broadcasted and we run straight to the shelter and get frozen. We then suddenly wake only to watch our son being ripped away from our wife and her shot and refrozen. Eventually we get rethawed again, but this time we get free, and with no idea of how much time has passed, we have one goal, and that is to rescue our son, Sean. I explore the vault before leaving, coming across a terminal that has an option to play a holotape game. So I decided to give it a go, and as soon as I do, I earn my first trophy for the game, locking me into the Platinum. I then leave and head to the surface to see the results of the Fallout.
He said it!
Earning my second trophy for the game. Once out of the vault, I had one goal, and that was to take on the story, but I was only going to go so far. There are 10 story quests I needed to complete at this point, and I've put the full list on screen for anyone following this video for the Platinum. While going through all of these quests, I earn the 5 story trophies linked to certain quests, and I also get a trophy for reaching level 5 and level 10 in the game. Now, as soon as I see the pop-up saying that the quest molecular level has started, this is where I stop completely working on any story missions and start working on the factions for some of their trophies instead. I first help out the Brotherhood, completing Revile, Fire Support, and then Call to Arms, earning the trophy for then joining the Brotherhood and teaming up with them. I then moved on to the Railroad faction, completing the 2 missions, Road to Freedom and then Tradecraft straight after, to join them for the trophy. It was then back to home base Sanctuary, and I spoke to Preston, who tells us the Sturges is looking to help turn Sanctuary into a safe base. So I go talk to him and help him build the necessary structures. That's 5 beds, 2 water pumps, plant enough crops to get a total of 5 food resources. This can usually take about 10 plants. It depends on what you have available to plant, as most food gives you 0.5 of a resource instead of 1. And lastly, I need to get 5 defense, which I was able to get by building a turret. This can also be obtained with guard posts. Just remember to assign a settler to each one if you use that option. Once all this was done and I spoke to Sturges, the quests were completed, earning me another trophy. I then went and helped the Minutemen by completing the quest, the first step, which is also given to the player by Preston, and once completed earns me another trophy. This then allows me to take on the quest Taking Independence, which is another Minutemen quest that has another trophy for completing it, and once that is done, I needed to wait for at least 3 whole in-game days for the next part. So I found it was best to leave the area and fast travel back to home base in Sanctuary, and then with using a bed, just sleep for 3 in-game days, then fast travel right back to the castle, and the next quest, All Guns, was then available to take on, and once completed, gain another trophy. Now, before moving on and doing anything else at this point, there's one very important step not to forget, and that is to make a manual save now before doing anything else, as this is how you can platinum the game and get both endings and avoid doing the beginning of the game twice. I would also suggest making a note of the save number or even backing it up separately so you don't lose it. Once I had saved my game and made a note of the save file, I went back to taking on the story missions, and this playthrough I was siding with the Brotherhood and going to earn one of the 2 possible endings for the game. For this, I completed all the missions that I have put on screen for you all, earning all the story trophies for them alongside the trophy Touchdown, which is for being blown up by a mini nuke from a fat man. And if by some chance you haven't got this by the end of your journey, you can just shoot one at the floor and blow yourself up for it as well. I don't think you'll need to do that though, but just in case. Once all the story missions are completed, it was just the ending, and I decided I was going to go with the nuclear option for the Commonwealth on this run. But do not make the same mistake I did. And that is, once you get the ending trophy, don't just instantly load up your previous save file that you made a note for. Make sure to make another manual save here. And again, make note of the file number, as once done, you can then load back the original file I said to make a note of earlier to start the next part. I will explain the reason for making a mandatory save file here, but for now, just do as I tell you. It will save you a lot of time in the long run. Once I reloaded back to the save I made earlier, before siding with the Brotherhood, it was time now to work on the other factions, but I will be working with both Railroad and Institute for most of the game, but the ending we side with is with the Institute. All the missions that need to be completed for this, again, I have put on screen, so feel free to pause, make a note of them all. Just make sure to follow these and complete only these story quests, but make sure to complete the Railroad ones before finally finishing with the Institute. During this part of the journey, I only earned the story-based trophies for the missions, and then finally the second of the two ending trophies, Nuclear Family, ending the story completely and leaving plenty of trophies to earn in the cleanup. All I had left were miscellaneous trophies, some that can be earned alongside going for others, and some that needed me to purposely go for them. The first I get is Home Run, and this is for running around the bases in Diamond City, which is easy enough to do. And once I ran around all the bases and got back to the first one, I got the trophy. Next, I earned Scaver, and this is for having 1,000 resources that are used for crafting in your inventory, and I got it purely by accident because when I was at the workshop in Sanctuary, I pressed square, taking all the junk I had stored in the workshop itself, earning me the trophy. I then carried on playing and went to another base I was setting up, which earned me my next trophy for building 100 workshop items. I then decided to start working on side quests in the game because there is a trophy for completing 10 of them, and I knew it would help with working on others that I would need to get done as well, so it just made sense. Such as discovering 100 locations, allying with 3 settlements which can be done using the Minutemen quests, and picking 50 locks in total. It's just like any other Bethesda game, I leveled up my lockpicking and just opened up everything I came across. There is another trophy like this for hacking terminals, which isn't one I work towards as easily, but there's a farming spot I'll show you all which gets it done quickly. But for now, I complete my 10 side quests and I'm nowhere near level 50. And I really didn't want to keep doing quests if I could help it. If I'm honest, I wasn't as invested in this game as I would have been on things like Skyrim, for example. I found a nice easy method that can level up the character quickly, and it's incredibly simple to pull off. This was all shown to me in a video by ESO, and I will briefly explain the concept, but for the full details of everything that needs to be done, the video is linked in the description as I said earlier. So the basics is that you need to go to the Saugus Ironworks to grab a picket fence collectible. That unlocks the ability to place statues in home bases. Combine this with the duplicating items glitch in the game, which is incredibly easy to pull off. Just drop the item you want to duplicate. In this case, it's copper. So I drop it on the floor, then hold down square to break it down, but don't just release square. Quickly slide over and hold down circle. You will know if you've done it right when the 2 windows pop up at the same time. But do not leave go of circle. You need to keep it held down while navigating to say yes to both store and break the item. And if done correctly, you have now duplicated it. This makes it so easy then to level up, because if you have the max intelligence, each statue you place is worth 31 XP. And you can place down a lot at once. Just max out the settlement limit, and then once you've reached that limit, just destroy all the ones you placed, and then rinse and repeat. Right up until you hit at least level 50 for the trophy, or higher if you want more stat points to use on your adventure. The next trophy I went for is one that a lot of people have said can be annoying and buggy, so I have again linked the guide I use, which breaks down the exact method I followed, and I got it first try with no problems at all. I did get all the resources I would need first and then saved. This allowed me to return to the start of the build of the settlement if I had any issues. So I followed the steps provided by Jacob in his video. I used the cheaper turrets to build and not the ones in the video, but as long as the defense value is exactly the same, you will be fine. And once you need to fill the settlement up with stuff anyway, I just filled it with statues like we did in the first part for leveling. And after sleeping and waking and repeating the process, I eventually got happiness maxed out and earned the trophy. So to make sure this is easily earned for you, just give the video I linked to what I watched and you shouldn't have any issues getting this. I then crafted 50 weapon mods, technically, because all I did was craft a barrel mod and then selected to craft no barrel mod, which counts as crafting somehow, even though you're not using any resources. You then just re-equip the barrel mod that you did craft and then keep rinsing and repeating, crafting no barrel mod, and then I just keep doing this until I got the trophy for 50 crafted mods. Now, I know this could have been earned through a natural play, as with a lot of these trophies probably, but not with how I played the game, and the same goes for the next one, which is for crafting 100 items. I had crafted some on my playthrough, but the main way I did it was duplicating the resources required to make the chemical jet, and then crafted it until the trophy dropped for crafting 100 of them. Now, I only had 11 trophies left at this point, until the platinum, and the next one I went for was for recruiting 5 companions, and there are a few throughout the Wasteland you can recruit. The last one I recruited was Preston, but the best resource for this is the guide on PSNP, as it shows where they should be and also how to recruit them. I then started to collect the bobbleheads in the game. There are 20 in total. I thought this would be a good way to work on the 50 hack terminals as well, as I was sure I would encounter at least a couple of them on the journey. They were fairly easy to find using IGN's map of the Commonwealth, as you could filter it down to only show the bobbleheads, and each one of them actually has a video showing where they are and how to get to them. There are some you may have already collected as well, so make sure to check your inventory first for them, and once I got 10 I got my first of the 2 trophies for them. But as I explored and killed 300 creatures and placed a grenade using a pickpocketing skill as a prank and killing 300 people, I find out I cannot get the 20th bobblehead until I complete a quest line, so I'll come back to that one later. For now, I went on to hack 50 terminals. I made sure to have Valentine follow me for this. That's because I had him with me for most of the game, and I needed to max out a friendship with a companion, so he made logical sense, and since he likes it when you hack a terminal, it was just a no-brainer. So for this, I got the South Boston military base. This has a terminal to hack, so you sneak around the side, hack it, but do not open the door. Run a safe distance then, because there are enemies nearby, to fast travel back to the castle base, and then just fast travel straight back, repeating the hacking process. This unlocked a quest for me to complete with Valentine, as I got his affinity up high enough. So I finished the terminal hacks for the trophy, and then completed his quest, which maxed out his affinity, and got the trophy for maxing out a companion's affinity. Finally, all I was left with was 4 trophies, so I completed the quest line, which gave me access to the last bobblehead in the Insane Asylum. And to start it, you go to the dugout in Diamond City, and when asked to do a job for the Cabot family by someone, accept and follow through the quest line until you actually gain access to the asylum. And once you can access it, you can just run in, grab the bobblehead for the trophy, and then just leave. Don't worry about the quest. I didn't, I just ignored it. I then used the guide on PSNP again to find more giant creatures, earning a trophy when I finally killed my 5th one, and also use it to find the magazines I needed to reach 20. There are plenty in the world, and most of them are not on this guide, but the guide gives at least 20 to make sure you can earn that trophy. And on my last one that I picked up, the trophy popped. Now, my last and final trophy for this game to get the platinum was a complete headache for me. But if you listened to me and made a save from the Brotherhood ending, you won't have the same issue as I did. I needed to complete 50 miscellaneous objectives in total, and I struggled to find exactly what counted as one, and I didn't want to spend hours adventuring around, eventually finding one and making it even more tedious than it already was. But I somehow found a list of all the miscellaneous objectives on the Fallout Wiki, which allowed me to grind my way through all the way up to the 50 I needed, earning me the trophy, and with it the platinum. But from what I had read, if you have an alliance with the Brotherhood, you can purchase vertibird signals to use, and once used, boarding the vertibird counts as a miscellaneous objective, so just continue to repeat the process until you get the 50 you need done for the trophy. And now, if you followed all my steps and used the resources I use, as I have, you should now also have the platinum. I hope you enjoyed this change in format that I tried as well for this video, and it is something I do want to try and do a bit more for, guiding you or breaking down some platinum journeys instead of just documenting my adventure for the platinum. so it's something I'll try and keep in mind for future. But as always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.